captions, working captions. Great. Okay. There we go. Forget double paper. Okay, let's go. It's quite easy to understand and learn these days because all we need to because the tools we have today and these days are like just a second. Hello. Yeah, these are the tools which I use to learn and study every day. That one of them is like Notebook LLM, and another one is that's it for now. No more LLMs or bullshit. Yeah. So I learned from here. Day2 Can I add like a note? How to add note? Date. Text mask. Note to command. Control. keep water closer to you, because when you try to read something or study something, and when you use your brain, it's gonna take a lot of your energy and you tend to like sleep or stuff. It's nothing like that. It's not motivation issue or anything. It's just dehydration in your brain. So just drink more water. It will settle down. When I don't understand something, I just come back here and then ask like, explain me this statement. It's so easy to learn these days. You just need to find some time for yourself and sit. Hmm. So you often see what is like keyword matching and surface level relevancies, right? So basically, what it means is let me explain you quickly. Okay, here we are. So so basically, how this works is like when uh, okay. So in LLMs, so in large language models, which are like LLMs, the way it says like guilty, yes or no, you can sure, inefficient, and there are such as direct reasoning or standard LLMs or work based method. The difference between is like initially they say like why existing methods fail because okay so the way any LLM, any ChatGPT or Perplexity, Google, anything LLM is works is like they don't really have a um, thinking capability or like brain. All they do is like match the content from their knowledge base here and there and then give it, and the way it works is like this. So it whenever we type something, it is like splitted into different chunks into that every single keyword is supposed to be like difference between, no, not the difference, every word is split into different smaller chunks so that it predicts what is the, as we can see, the probability, and what comes next, what comes after, what can be done next, what can be done before. This is how an LLM works, any LLM works, as we can see. Based on this, how it is the model is trying to collaboratively build this sentence all together, and we can see that the more probability is it, the more like this is just a visualization, and we can see in uh, so after language there might be like engineer, programmer. These are the most used use cases by today by the Perplexity chat. So we can also choose for all the different models, but the thing is like this is how it works. And just because and even it goes with for every single parameter, even for very little full stop or commas or these kind of characters. Even for as we can see, for surprising, it it splits the word into two or three or many different parts, like, and then it figures out whether the model whether the upcoming token, we call these the model call these as like tokens, which is like in generalized way. So it splits into different tokens, and then it figures out whether if this is matching to this, or if this matching is to this. If not, then it cannot predict this one. Based on this, it is try to predict the next token, so next word basically. So basically this is how it is, and that's why there is a lot of vibe coding platforms or prompt engineering. It's prompt engineering and etc. is nothing but taking in mind of these parameters and these tokenizations and this kind of small little things, and the way models have trained is in markdown format mostly. So from ChatGPT 2 or any previous LLM, so that's why we say if you are prompting something, is better to prompt it in a markdown format. And we can also see like there are like Claude and different platforms coming up here and there, CLI platforms. They also give in a markdown format. So if you are trying to prompt or do something, just try to put it in a markdown format. That way you will get the uh, markdown format. I see that my captions are like fucked up, so that's okay. So so markdown format and the way it is. So as we and so we have a basic understanding now on how these models work, but the thing is they don't have a brain and they don't have thinking capability. So do not assume that they are always giving correct answers. This is just collaborative answers. The model, it doesn't have any brain. So that's what this paper is trying to solve. As they say, like failure in knowledge accuracy, failure in knowledge accuracy, etc. Let's go into it. Yeah. I told you, when you use your brain, you'll get this kind of thing. Just drink water. It should be fine. I put in some BCAA today. BCAA are branched chains amino acids. They're very essential for your muscle, brain, blah 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 to your body. Just take it if you have just 2 rupees, 3 rupees, or just go to any grocery store. If you ask for electrolytes, it's the same thing. You don't have to be get any fancy or stuff. I got fancy because I had to fill in for like the daily variety stuff, or I just use like uh, my nearby grocery electrolytes. Should be fine. Just use it. It will help. Let's try to finish this paper in an hour. We have to go for lunch. See, as it says, like the reason it fails is because it matches keywords in the prompt rather than correct article. If the way they are confirming because it matches the keywords and rather than the correct is because they have a RAG architecture behind this, like like here, the way as we can see here, the direct reasoning jumps to unjust enrichment, and based on whatever is like searched more or whatever we have in this keywords, the question in this prompt, it will just go to generating the most probabilistic generation or sentence, whatever it is, but response, most probabilistic response rather than actually reasoning. What they have been developing, Raymond University of China, is like they have made an agent which is like law thinker, and it needs to, whenever you ask a question, rather than going directly, what the fuck, yeah. So whenever we have this, wallet, fuck. Okay, whenever we have this, I need to read it once without any direct reasoning. It just does this, but with law thinker, all it has to do is like, I need to retrieve articles for child support. It thinks, then explores what are the articles we have provided. This is an RAG architecture where we need to chunk down all the articles and give it in the backend database. Backend database is nothing but memory database, like how we think and remember stuff. Like, okay, like the way we wake up and think that first thing we need to do is like brush our teeth. How do we know that? It's just in our memory. We have been trained over and over, and that's how any LLM or any AI or blah this child transformers work. And that's why if our memory is clean, the responses are also clean. So the way it verifies with its brain, or like the backend, that verification full law context or access law, so it will go through all the articles and figure out that yes, legal advice consistent with current provision. The way it works is like, we give it a task, explore our knowledge base, the RAG system, RAG architecture, or its brain. Deep verifier. Deep verifier is nothing but it's like where it give we dedicate time constraint for the model, so that it has a lot of time to verify within itself. And so it does like this with, as I told you, the memory module. It does this multiple times, and then based on the most probabilistic from this, it will generate a final result. Okay. Retrieval is basically RAG. Navigating the leap yeah, the database consists of like we can also, in our database, we can include a lot of different materials and directions. Just think of it as how you would assign a work to your junior or your helper, and think of this database as this person or this helper as a database, and observe how this person interacts or acts or thinks in every step, so that you know how your database for any system must be created. Basically, you ask somebody for, can you fill me, for example, like, can you fill me up, like, okay. So you basically ask for someone that can you please help me fill up water in this bottle, and now you sit back and observe how they process this thing. So what we can assume is that they pick up the bottle and they fill in, they open the cap and then they fill in the cap, and now you have to think whether, if they are capable enough, they'll stop at some point. If their thinking capability is ethical or like correct reasoning, they'll stop at like this point or this point, so that there would be no overflow out of the bottle. If not, they'll just fill it up to here, or like there would be water overflow or something, or like when you put back the cap, the way they put back the cap, maybe there's loose or tight. So this is how you need to observe and think, and then once you rectify all of the issues or responses, you can then say that, oh, can you please, if you and then you can correct them by like, can you please fill in the water until this point, which is like, maybe this is a 1.5 liter bottle, where like 1.5 liter bottle, so you can just say like, maybe until 1.3 liter or 4 liter, so that there wouldn't be any overflow, and can you please tighten up the cap. So once you learn this, and once the helper of your or this guy learns from you, next time there are high probability that he won't repeat it or follow your prompting. So that's exactly how any database works for any LLM. So you teach it first, you give it a set of rules, you give it a set of instructions and set of following something, and then it grows. But it is not a human being, so we need to put a uh, lot of documents for it to read it every single time. The good thing about LLMs is it can read fast, unlike human beings. So we can put step by step process on how you should read, how you should navigate yourself, how you should find out if you have any doubt, how you can verify with yourself. We can make a markdown format and we can input everything in that. My captions are fucked up again, but that doesn't matter. Leave it. Navigating the legal web exploration. Yeah, as I told you, like the fact, whatever in this, we must include something like fact, which is like law article retrieval related articles. This, if we fuck up with this article fact list, then our entire database is fucked, and this law thinker will give you unethical reasons or biased reasoning every time you need. What the fuck? Whatever you need. So because it does not have a brain like a general like a judge or any human being, it does not have a brain. All it does is it goes to the task, it explores the knowledge base, and this is our knowledge base. And if we do not put correct and ethical valued factual stuff in our database, then this entire legal environment is fucked up. That's why the law thinker or anything related to AI in law needs to be mm, highly verified and need to be correct. And it's very essential that there must be a human in the loop. Human in the loop is nothing but this. Basically, a human in the loop is this: you have an AI, but there are two, let's say, like two people are fighting, like one is like opponent to each other. So the AI is with this judge. So what he does is, like, if, let's say, for now we have judge, and he goes through, he asks this AI that or like real time, that what is the things happening, blah 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 article. So it will pull out all the articles like this, like article 122 or like article 985, and then it's highly efficient that a human verifier like the judge, who has pretty good knowledge, uses this and leverage it rather than just solely depending on this agent. Because this agent or this LLM does not have a fucking brain to think. It's just a text jumbling, adding jumble text here and there based on probability. Law article recommendation, yeah. So we need, based on this, as we understood now. So based on this, the law article and everything needs to be like clearly given here. And precedent exploration, as I told you, like this navigating the legal web as I told like previously, in our database we can put whatever we want, like how to navigate it, how to give it um, directions and everything. And we need to make sure that this entire thing, as you can see, the way it moves is like probabilities, like reducing, increasing, and etc. And by here it is like something. But we need to figure out a way that this entire paragraph is correct, and also correct for the current case and user, and also it must be useful for and also it must be properly structured in a way. So that's why we need so that this agent, whoever is, this law thinker agent, when it's like navigating it, when it navigates from 1 2 3 4 5 6, it remembers all of this, and then follow up with this generation. If not, there wouldn't be any sense to this sentence and this paragraph. What That's why we need this memory module and set of rules, and how the article must be navigating, and we also use a Sailor defense retrieval. Sailor defense retrieval is nothing but there is another agent within the agent, so there would be like another agent in the loop where they would say that this is where you need to navigate, like the way I prompted some my helper to open the bottle and fill it up till here, and this agent in the Sailor defense retrieval have a set of rules and navigation materials and navigation directions marked on format, prompt engineering, you name it. The way you prompt it, the way it works for you, it works. So it does not have to be a static fundamental, it can be entirely dynamic. And we can also figure out like we can also input some retrieval complaints or defenses. As I told you, like we can the way like as we previously discussed, it navigates from end to end gates, and basically it works the same as like NAND gates and AND gates in any electronics. It gets it So it goes to one decision, it makes it one at this decision gate, it will figure out, it will do the math, and with this probability it will move here, and with this probability result it will move here. Based on that, we'll find out what are the exact article it is like predicting here. So all this from here so when we ask a query when we ask a query or interaction, this is our interaction point. And the second part, explore law retrieval, is this task where it is like tasking where it initiates a task and explores the knowledge database in our module. And this is our memory module, and our memory module is basically factual stuff and articles and expansions and many books and everything. But to guide it exactly, we need somebody to tell our agent whether to go in what direction. So they used like Sailor defense retrieval, and based on that they have also created a response like once this is entirely verification part, and this final output part is like if it is like in complaints, defense, civil, criminal laws, they have created they have created this templates, and they have posted the way of responses to the templates, because there is a certain type of uh, format for you to explain and for you to talk in talk and decide in the criminal law court or like any court for a judgment. That's why it also goes to with our law thinker first, and then explores our law retrieval second, and verify the thing, and finally gives us the output. So they I don't know. So strategy to de-verify the gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper, what the gatekeeper is kind of funny. So when the model is guiding and navigating through all of this part, we need somebody to draw a boundary of related to the uh, query. what we have asked, because this is a boundary and we need to create a boundary to stay within this boundary. If not, it will just keep on building the context length which is irrelevant to our query, and it just keeps on building and learning more and more and more rather than just giving us the output. So we need to put guardrails or gatekeeper. And the way it does is like the way we travel around countries or anywhere. We need to have a, let's say for visa purposes, for an international student, if I have to travel from India to Thailand, I need to go to the airport, I need to show the passport and this do a stamp. So that is like a checkpoint for me. And the second checkpoint would be in Thailand, and they put another stamp, which is another checkpoint for me. And when I come back in here, I need to verify every 30 to 90 day reporting. That is another checkpoint. So we need to keep this track of checkpoints so that we are still in this boundary. So everything, this LLM works the same. So one checkpoint would be in, so deep verifier is this one already. They have already, the agent itself is like this deep verifier. The way it works with this is deep verifier. Within this also comes under deep verifier. So for the first time when it explores the law, it knows what to end and where to end. For the second part, verification, and this is also a second point, second checkpoint. So now it has, initially it has article X, now it has also facts. Now it will verify whether this is correct or this is wrong, what is. So as you can see, like which is correct, which is wrong, matches subject, object and intent to the statute, state, and proceeds with the compliance. So based on this template and retrieval part, it will create the document format and proceeds at checkpoint. So strategy 3 would be something like dual channel memory for long horizons. Let me see what it is. Oh yeah, so I told you the the any, as humans we learn and keep something which we have learned, and when we try to do over and over consistently, we build a knowledge base strong within that. So in the database, since we are putting different chunks, we also need to put different verifications for different verifications and understanding for each different module. That's why we have knowledge base, case study memories, and this model, this law verifier has access to everything. But based on the query and based on the requirement, it now knows whether to guide in this part. Because of the help of our deep verifier, it now knows whether to guide here, whether to guide here. If not, if we do not have this deep verifier part, it will just randomly split into anything, and then just keeps on jumble the words. Like, what if we just give that, what if we do not split this and then give everything in one go? It would not make any sense, right? So that's how this is also is this is also how it is. And the 15 to legal ecosystem is basically for the paper is by China. So they have derived this verification and exploration part. So if we want to do for individual country, we need to develop a similar, we need to understand what is the database of current architecture, current law enforcement, and based on that we need to create our own tool invocation and legal system. For example, what they have described in this paper is law article retrieval. These are all, the way I told you, in our database we can store a lot of files. So these are essentially the files what we are trying to put in our database, which is like, first for exploration part they have input like law article retrieval. So this is a guide, like navigation guide where to go. Once we have this navigation guide, it will go to here from our database to figure out what it learns, and once it has learned some stuff, it will come back, and then we'll think again, like charge expansion, okay, maybe then it has to go to something else, but now this has a learning from here, it will go here, and then it will understand, keep the understanding in the database, in its understanding, to get this final output, and to goes to again and again, like uh, different articles and different materials to figure out what are the correct way to get the final output. And for the verification part, again, as we can see, law article retrieval, law article context check, and then charge and law consistency check, charge and expansion and consistency, document format, template retrieval and case retrieval, right? And these three can be done in one, and procedure check. This is a verification part which is very important, because once the model is learning something and going into something else, we are assuming that the model is remembering something, but the more it learns, so the more it learns, it does not understand how much far it has come through. So we need to keep on reminding that, what did you learn from this? Can you please pull up? So it will go back to understanding and see. Once you ask it, so it has access to all of this, so it can just immediately figure out this is the thing. So that's what they are doing the same. Once the exploration is done, they are asking, like, is this correct, like verify full law context. That means it will understand again, like another loop, that this entire thing is correct or not. And it goes with it goes with every part, and then gives a memory storage, like we discussed, store validated data. Once everything is done and it also verified, it is only storing validated data on our query, not what it has understood, or not what it is in this articles or this entire thing, based on our query. That is why there is a lot of prompt engineering or etc, context window, building skills. This is basically building skills. This skills is nothing but building this deep verifier or memory module, and how the prompting works, or like how to generate this document. This is what memory storage is. And it finally, now it has an understanding of our query, and understanding of what is context data and what is validated data. So based on that, they have evaluated on J1 eval structure, which is another metric to figure out law enforcement trials. And they are ones, and these are our basic LLM modules. And once they what they proposed in Law Thinker is this, how to plan and solve, and they have immediately received about 70% accuracy. So this worked with them. So if we are trying to do in a particular country and particular small source field, we need to understand and create the system, and we need to make all of these documents essential. This is our basically data. So once this data is clear, the rest of the thing is just like maybe 2 or 3 pages of code, 300 400 pages lines of code. But the only thing is how to create this database ethically correct. If this article retrieval is wrong, then your entire memory is wrong. If you manipulate this data is manipulated, and this is still correct, but it's wrong, because the data is manipulated, and these models doesn't have the ethical value or anything to verify whether this database is correct or not. They think that this is just a training module. They does not know. So that's how there are a lot of hacking stuff and everything, and jailbreaking stuff is going on. Jailbreaking is nothing but just creating these files and inputting, giving them to the, it's basically like, yeah, giving it to the model, and it learns and thinks this is actually the true and this is the factual stuff, rather than thinking anything. Mastering, I have no idea what the fuck is this. What is this matrix thing? Till now I never understood, but let's see. So basically so they have compared over like 5 different fields. Investigation, civil part, so they have the reasoning was good. The law thinker, they are different models, and the law thinker performs this architecture performs better, obviously, and average accuracy is a bit better also. But the thing we need to figure out is like how it is like processing from direct reasoning to the law thinker, because it is kind of huge impact from 55 to 62. Don't In machine learning or any computer systems, do not assume that getting 100% accuracy or 80-90% accuracy, because that is not human accuracy. Human make mistakes. Human mind does not have this database retrieval in a very quick time, so never assume that it has to be highly accurate. Go with, compare the accuracy by which human accuracy, how much human is accurate and how much this law thinker is accurate. I think based on 50 to 65% is still a great impactful. And scaling part is like, yeah, this how to make a business model out of this. Focus on the knowledge structure and then procedure compile compliance and blah blah blah, trainee to judge. So don't assume that this is entirely judge processing. Once this is like learning, it will go again and again. This has to iterate over like 2-3 years now to figure out which works better and how industries accept. So but this is a very standardized framework, and how a law thinker or any academic purposes or any company database or customer feedback, etc., these kind of stuff, if we have this architecture inbuilt in our database, we most probably get somewhere close to like 60-70% like accurate results, rather than generalized ChatGPT or generalized LLMs, because this is a large reasoning models, unlike these are large language models. And the future of legal AI is verifiable, blah 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 blah. Law thinkers move industry for generated probability. Yeah. So that's it. That is how. Let's see what this paper says to us. Yeah, more or less 15 legal tools, exploration of verification. Yeah, 15 legal tools we have discussed. Then reasoning with education. Yeah, this is basically it's the architecture, legal consultant, verifiable, very well. LLM based legal agents. Even though this is a how do I say? Even though this is a entirely, we say like reasoning model, reasoning model and something, these are still large language models. They are just trying to add the jumbled text words here and there. So that's why there is like LLM based legal agents, because it's just a text jumbling and attaching based on complex math and probability stuff. I'm not a good mathematician, so I'm still learning. I'll try to explain how the math works maybe in like 4 or 5 months now. Let's see. Overview of law thinker framework. Yeah, this is a framework they have discussed. Like law database, fact, retrieve articles, you understand the fact, you learn the fact, then retrieve articles about it, then law article recommendation. So basically this has nothing to do with the web. All it is just a very static custom GPT kind of thing, and it will only um, have the database knowledge within this context whatever we are providing, but it will not try to access the web if we and answer, because when we input the web into the loop, web extraction, web exploration in the loop, it hallucinates a lot. We don't want hallucination or our data to be leaked into the into any websites. Legal knowledge exploration, the same. Oh wait. Verification is like so how the so we have seen how this exploration verification part, the way it does is like exploration is like template retrieval. For complaint, what kind of template we need. For defense, what kind of template. Procedure retrieval, like these are different kinds of templates, and how it also needs to plan how to write the document. That's why there is a writing plan document, and in the memory it needs to remember all the like exactly the law articles, numbers, trial workflow, etc. And for the verification part, whatever the data what is this thing, articles are retrieved, it needs to come here for full text provision. And when we ask it to like verify, the way it is like verifying here is this, like fact and law check, charge and law check, search and query check, document format check, everything it checks. Then it provides the memorization and this article. And legal knowledge exploration is the same. Deep verifier, hybrid setup verification. Yeah, so this is the deep verifier, and so this is a very smart way to verify what you have learned, or how much accurate this thing is like. Because if we only put this output once, we never know whether it is accurate or not. That's why probably they put twice. Usually I check with like multiple different agents. So once I generate some context from let's say ChatGPT, I verify it with like Grok, XAI, or Claude AI. Verify that, I just ask it to like verify whether this context is correct or not. For example, I don't have, so yeah, we can do like that. You can verify it within your context length and generation as well, because most of the time the LLMs itself are not accurate. And if you just depend yourself on the LLM generated context, you will be like fucked up soon. You need to have the basic understanding of what you need, or else you are just drifting in an empty sandbox. You need to have a boundary of your knowledge base. If you don't have a knowledge base, then the LLM most probably gives you better results, but it's always better to learn and proceed. Criminal laws, etc. Experimental results, overall performance. These are the better results. Ours are like law, for law they got 40% accurate in like CR, and good accuracy in some other part. Albation study is nothing but they in this albation is nothing but taking away a major component and checking whether this component is working well or not. For example, for example, we have cars, and cars have windshields. And if you are going in a car and if you are listening to songs, you hear good music without any noise or something. So albation is nothing but taking away the windshield or window from your car, and you pull down the windows of your car and check whether you can hear the same noise or not, which sound is accurate, which music is accurate or good on your ears. Based on that, you can proceed. So and also you need to check like that. And even with their own albation study, they have did this. Of course, in different legal scenarios. Again, my friends, when you use your brain, drink more water. Sorry. I have no idea what this thing is. Like every time I get, maybe I'll understand in 5 to 6 months. Yes, prompts in Law Thinker. We provide a table. Yeah, see, these are the prompts. So I told you prompts in Law Thinker. So the way this works is, once we have this entire knowledge database, these are the functions, how to guide them, and these are the architecture top K algorithms which are used in this retrieval format to retrieve what we need. And we don't essentially need to request all the functions like a nerd. Rather than, we can just you can just prompt it like you are a legal reasoning assistant that may call domain specific legal tools whichever necessary. But these are the available tools we mention, because we mention and say it, because once you mention and save it in this memory, it understands initially that we have all these available in our mind. So now it has a guide now it has a map of what are the materials or what are the things I need to access and proceed. Based on that, it will go ahead and figure out everything. So this is for the code part. Based on that, tool call name procedure retrieval civil code stage 10. This is how we need to understand how this calls how it understands and how it goes into each of them. Is it will, for code simulation, we recommend procedure retrieval. So procedure retrieval, when you say can you pull up something related to procedure retrieval to the model, so it does tool call. As we given it, you have these tools available, so it will go to procedure retrieval document, and it will find out code type civil code, and then it will call the tool. And then the result would be like 5 stages. We have returned 5 stages, and this result is saved here. So it goes for every single task like that. Deep verifier prompt. So once this is done and everything is done, we need to, the way they verified again is like you are a deep analysis legal assistant in the same context. The user's last query or response, the current reasoning trace, and the result of exploration. Now available tools are this all. So we should never put all of the requirements in a single text or single chat. We should always take our time, step by step, in little chunks, and then we need to give it to the model. So once we say that we have memory fetch, store, law consistency, and everything, it will call fact law relevance check. Where is it? Fact law relevance check. And then it will say that article 201, is it correct or not. If it says correct, okay, then save it in the result. If not, law query rewrite. Once you rewrite, query original, case background, tool call, it will understand and write, and then based on this, if not, once the probability is correct, whatever, we can retrieve the confidence score. Confidence score is nothing but how much how much the model understands and how much it is accurate, how much it will verify with the document and examples which we will provide. And finally it will create the document format check, complaint document or whatever the document, it will wrap the text and it will give it to you, and then you can give it to the code simulation. That's it. So simple. So simple and easy. Yeah, it's a very pretty good paper and pretty good architecture, the way they are using agentic platforms and agent in the loop is pretty nice. So should we go once again? Finally. So in this paper, so wait, let me see, let me pull this up. So we'll just do a quick summary what we have learned today. We are essentially okay. So what we have learned today is the paper we are discussing is Law Thinker, a deep research legal agent in dynamic agent. Okay, so now the way we usually talk with any LLM is we give a query and it does a direct reasoning, jumps directly to, without any knowledge base or something, it will just figure out whatever the articles or anything posted on the websites, or it does web scraping or visit different websites in the article and figure out what this does is so we can try the same in here. Like Siri.ai, and then we can see okay, nothing model, just model best, and we can figure out can child pay. So it does investigation, the same thing, select wrong state, it does not know what are the articles are standing. So what it does is investigating law options for reclaiming. So it does not know whether we are reclaiming is correct or not. User, country, family law, something, user, legal jurisdiction, something, user, prior questions about Thai law, which is irrelevant, and it goes to these websites to learn what it is doing, which is like Thailand online. Only it is trying to get about like 10 to 15 sources, and let's see what this Reddit tab creates. It is proven a guy is it if it is a proven a guy is not a father, can you ask for reimbursement of child support? It depends, generally no, but the thing is, this guy is not a judge or not a legal advisor, and an LLM taking advices and references from these kind of people, like for example this one, Siam Center Law Group, 7 frequently asked question about child support, can I child, answer is yes. So the most can I reclaim answer is yes, the most probabilistic thing is like this is also an AI generated stuff, this is not something written by some legal advisor or something. So once it is done with this child support blah blah blah, and this not following the actual laws, even though it is like Thai online. Let's see what it does. So all it has, the knowledge database is this much, not more than that. That is not enough for in a court or in a to support for a judge or something. judge or the lawyer. Why this jurisdiction? Why this depends on jurisdiction? Finally, it says like whether you should not simply ask take back money or something, which is irrelevant because we want which article should be done. So that's what this paper is trying to resolve, and on how we can proceed with this one. So autonomous legal research in dynamic environments is like basic. So let's get into it. Hey, slide deck. Okay. So in law, the right answer is not enough. As we have seen from the perplexity, the right answer is not enough because we don't know whether it is correct or not, and also um, we need to verify whether this is how accurate is this. Wait a second, I'll try to show you some more things. So, and recent advancements in large reasoning models, we cannot just depend on language models, which are just combination and permutations of text based on the given probability. They are just trying to give the text combination, but that is not how we need something like large reasoning model. That is what they are trying to propose. And the difference is, as we have seen from perplexity text, and how the way it works is like direct reasoning. Without direct reasoning jumps to just unjust enrichment and find some article or find some Facebook, Reddit, or some bias system, and based on that it will give you an output and say yes. So do not fucking believe on that and think that you will get law or something. So what this does is actually how law thinking and law agent will actually help industry or government organizations. And so now we'll figure out how this law thinker and how this paper has been derived. So initially, what a new paradigm exploring legal environment. In a legal environment, how the conversation and queries and judgmentals takes place is exactly replicated in this chat, in this agent platform. So give it a task, it explores the knowledge base, and they have there is a deep verifier, which is like how we verify within ourselves and within our knowledge base. And since like if in front of the judge there is always lawyers fighting for their clients, but the judge himself need to verify with his database whether this whatever they are proposing is ethically correct or not. So he himself has his own memory module, and based on that he will verify multiple times with his module, with his data and with his memory, and gives a final result. That is exactly how this paper works. Strategy: navigating the legal web. So they in this knowledge database they have given a law article. We can input a law article, facts, articles, charge expansions, and case retrieval. Criminal, like they did only for civil and criminal, we can also input different. So in our database we can input a lot of chunks of different RAG architectured style files and knowledge base. Based on that we need, based on that we need to navigate, and for the navigation part, for the agent we are providing a sailor, the way sailor sails the boat. The same part, the sailor does the dense retrieval part, and based on that we have, in a court or lawyer stuff, we need a particular type of document and retrieval formats how we should provide to the client. Based on that it retrieves everything and also follows the format to give the document. The way the deep verifier works is. So the way this deep verifier works is like, so legally there is ask a question, the chatbot answers and the legal answers and everything, but and the document, this is a legal environment how traditionally that happens. You ask it, it gives, and then document drafting, complaint draft or something, and code simulation is like they're proposing this, that there is a lawyer and they takes help from this chatbot, and then this agentic chatbot, and then they reply to the client. The way this law thinker works is like, we give a knowledge database for this and a deep verifier agent in the loop, another agent in the loop, and also we create a backend database to for our memory purposes. So when given a legal task begin reasoning, since this is our knowledge accuracy, it will fetch all the memory and storage in this context to learn what are the issues, what is ethical and what is unethical, but it does not know what is ethical or unethical. It will just create and keep it within itself, and once it starts the exploration, it will fetch everything, it will understand everything, and it will keep in its memory only, but it will not directly just figure out the reason. So to build this reasoning thing, we need to put it in a boundary. So we need to create a fact law relevance. We can also put different factual we can relevant factual stuff for it, and then it will check the facts, and it will figure out which fact is correct, which fact is wrong. Based on that, it will create the document. Dual channel memory for long horizon. Once this model has this understanding, it now knows whether to guide it into this chunk or this chunk. It is whether to fetch the data, whether to storage the data, whether to fetch the data. Now it knows everything. Now it has a map of where to pull information and where to put information from. The way this understands and keep this information about this mapping is like, for the okay, for the exploration part, in our data backend in our backend database, we have facts, and it will retrieve the articles. We have related to article and everything. The exploration would something look like that. It has different types of articles and procedures. It will follow all of this, and then charge the expansion, writing plan and generation, and how to retrieve the case, and then it stores everything in the memory. Whether it needs to store or fetch, it is depend on the thing, on the query. And for the verification part, we can as you know, this is still an LLM. It is still a language model, just adding text with a complex matrix multiplication and mathematics. So this verification needs to be done multiple times to verify whether the confidence scores of generated text is correct or not. And for that, they have included a different law article factual stuff with proven examples to whether like true or false, whether refined query, everything, detailed procedures, where they have, we can put everything in here, and based on that, it now differentiates whether to store the data or to whether to store the data or whether to fetch the data and that is how this paper follows. And after building this architecture, building this architecture, we now figured out that rather than chatting with a generalized LLM or a transformer, this is way better to put agents in the loop with dedicated retrieval formats and dedicated retrieval uh, architectures and guides and navigation, so that this becomes a language reasoning model, large reasoning model rather than large language model, and it gives like law thinker 70% accurate rather than it has been compared over like Chinese model. So it gives better accuracy. So if we need to create similar sort of thing for your company or your requirement, your business or something, you now need to understand how to create this database of exploration of verification. This is the only thing we need to be very consistent and very ethically correct, or based on your understanding and your requirements. If you put something bad or something unethical in our database, your entire memory database is fucked up. And the way you create these articles and way you verify the confidence score is highly based on this, and it also gives you the results based on that. As you have seen in from perplexity, or like the way it's thinking, it just goes to like multiple Facebook or Reddit and just gives you the data. So that is not how we need to verify or how we need to understand. So fucking hell. So that is how we need to create our database for, and this architecture applies for, these fundamentals apply for any different businesses, any customer service, customer reply or any other stuff. It answers the same. So this data documentation part needs to be very 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 carefully monitored. If not, the entire thing is like messed up and you'll get fuck up answers. Just don't believe any ChatGPT or anything for ethically legal advices unless you have dedicated all of these files in a .md files. And that's how this works. And it does the first, it does the legal consultation, then does the documentation part, and based on that there can be the judge who can take the right choices. If there is no judge, you are still fucked up. So it's always advisable to have a judge in your it's always advisable to have a human in the loop to verify whether this agent is correct or not. And how this processes is, okay, all it does is like we need to once we have our database and everything ready in here, everything, all of our database is ready. Now we start our chatbot. We start our chat by stating you are a legal reasoning assistance that may be domain specific for something, and we mention that these are we only attach these files in our chat, and we say that these are our available tools for this query only. Then it does the calling based on this query. Like for multi-turn query, it will call the query like law retrieval. Like for the query, we ask a must recusal request state reasons based on this algorithm and confidence score and temperatures. It states the snippets, and the results are now saved in its storage. Now after everything is done, why do we need the second verification? Is because we never know if we don't verify, and a single verification is not so accurate than multiple verification. That's why we now create another prompt where we say you are a deep analysis assistant with given research users query, current reasoning trace, and result of the exploration step. and based on that now we add new agent md files and new tool files, new tool md files, and now we give all of the new available tools for this agent. So essentially this agent and this agent are different. So based on that it will call the tool now that fact law relevance, fact law, and tool call result, and based on that it will create the final document. That's it. You can create this chatbot or this interface using architecture, these fundamentals with anything else. I use this notebook LLM to learn and study more and more with easier understanding. Nowadays it's way easier to learn stuff. Spend your time wisely, and that is how everything is like this. I'll also download this and then post it on social medias. You can also look it up if you want to learn deeply. This is a YouTube live video, and also I'm cutting this from YouTube live video, so just make sure to check the YouTube live video if you want a detailed understanding from what I've learned. I'm not a professional, so it's highly advisable that you don't give a fuck about me and don't learn from me. Thank you. Bye bye.